Good morning, children. So, today we are going to cover the part 5 of molecular basis of inheritance. Today's class we are going to see the properties of genetic material, that is DNA, RNA. So, DNA is the genetic material, but anyhow, some RNA viruses also there. So, which one is the better genetic material? So, that one we are going to see. Let us see the properties of genetic material. So, what are the properties when DNA or RNA, whatever it is there? So, what should be the property of genetic material? That is the criteria. Let us see that. So, when you see the criteria, so it should be able to replicate. That is replication. It should be able to generate its replica. Okay, and the second one, it should be chemically and structurally stable. But it should be stable, but sometimes there should be scope of slow change. It can be mutation and any other changes. So then only evolution can be there. So first it has to do replication, and second it has to be structurally and chemically stable. Then third it has to undergo some slow changes also, then only evolution will be there. Otherwise it will be stable, full stability is there, means there won't be any changes, there won't be evolution at all. So that's why the slow changes it should be in a position to accept. So then they should be able to express itself in the form of Mendelian character, what Mendel he explained. So some principles he explained, we studied. It should be able to express itself in the form of Mendelian character also. When you see these four features, protein they could not and they are not fulfilling any of the criteria. So surely it is not the genetic material. So DNA and RNA, both of them, they fulfill the criteria. So now let us see the RNA. So RNA, when you see, RNA is unstable. So why is it unstable? So because of the presence of OH group at every nucleotide, it gives its instability. So because of that, they are not stable, and they are liable for stable. They are not stable, and apart from that, easily degradable also. So the and all RNA, now we call RNA as catalyst also, and it is highly reactive. It can what is catalyst? Catalyst means what they will do, they can catalyze the reaction, biochemical reactions, activate the reactions. So RNA is unstable and they mutate faster. So if they mutate faster, then once again it is not fulfilling the genetic material criteria. So that's why some of the RNA viruses, so viruses, they are some viruses, they have RNA as genetic material. So that type of viruses you call that as retroviruses, and that viruses, they are having short lifespan and they mutate faster and they change their genome also very fast and evolve also faster. That type of viruses are very difficult to control. So now let us see the DNA. The DNA is more stable. The stability is one of the basic properties of the genetic material. So that's why the DNA, that is now fulfilling the main criteria as it is stable. And Griffith's transforming principle, what we studied, so the heat, by means of heat we were able to kill the bacteria, but the properties of genetic material, some of the properties they could not be modified. So that's why they were doing transforming the rough strain into smooth strain. Okay, so here in the case of two strands, in the case of DNA, there are two strands are there, and the two strands are complementary to each other. In the presence, in the place of thymine, ATGC combination is there in DNA. In the place of thymine, uracil is present in RNA. So the presence of thymine, it is giving stability to DNA, and the presence of uracil, it gives instability to RNA. So DNA is also less reactive, and they are structurally, they are more stable compared to RNA. So therefore these two nucleosides, among the two nucleic acids, DNA is the better genetic material. So why? Because the thymine, it gives it more stable, and the DNA is less reactive. That's the two main features. Because of that, and mutation also, it is very slow. For that type of the fast type of mutation, it is not there, and that's why now it makes the DNA as the better genetic material. Okay, so here that's the main thing what we studied. But anyhow, the DNA depends upon RNA for protein synthesis, because from already we studied central dogma theory. From DNA, RNA is formed, and the RNA it forms the protein. Okay, but anyhow, so the DNA depends upon RNA, but the DNA is more stable, so that's why the DNA is preferred more for storing the genetic information. Okay, so RNA is the first genetic material evolved under evolution. When you observe, RNA is the first genetic material, and slowly the RNA, from RNA the DNA evolved. Actually the DNA evolved from RNA by means of some chemical modifications. You know, DNA deoxyribose sugar is there, RNA ribose sugar is there, and the nitrogenous base combination DNA is having ATGC combination, and RNA is having AUGC combination. And because of the thymine we studied, it makes the DNA as the better genetic material because it is more stable. And the double stranded nature of DNA also gives it more stability. RNA is single stranded. So when you see the type of RNA, there are three major types of RNAs are there. They are mRNA, tRNA and rRNA. So mRNA, that is messenger RNA, tRNA, that is no transfer RNA, and the other RNA is ribosomal RNA, that is rRNA. All these three RNAs are required to synthesize protein in the cell. Actually mRNA, what do? They provide the template for form the genetic information for forming the protein. It is containing the genetic information in the form of genetic code. And the tRNA, what do? It brings the amino acid. It is transferring the amino acid from the cytoplasm to the place of protein synthesis. And they can read the genetic code of mRNA also. rRNA, it is the structural part of ribosome, and they are having the catalytic role during translation. That is, translation is the protein synthesis. So you know the ribosomes are major. The RNA, the ribosome's main function itself is protein synthesis, and the ribosome is made up of rRNA. Okay, like the three RNAs are there, but all the three are important for protein synthesis: mRNA, tRNA and rRNA. Okay children, sometime they can, in exam they can ask the types of RNA in 3 marks, and why DNA is considered as the better genetic material, and they can ask the difference between DNA and RNA. Okay, and they can ask the properties of genetic material, what are the criteria for genetic material, like that. So this portion is important for 2 marks and 3 marks children. Okay, learn this one. If you have any doubts, you can contact me. Thank you children.